and welcome to Cover Story. This week we're going to be taking a look at the Indian Parliament through the eyes of two young MPs, one from the Congress and one from the BJP. From the Congress we have Gaurav Gogoi, who as you know is the son of Assam Chief Minister Karan Gogoi. He's an articulate young MP who's already made an impression on the floor of the House. But before that, we're going to be going and talking to Rajyavardhan Rathore from the BJP. Rajyavardhan Singh, as you know, was in the army. He won an Olympic silver for the country and after that left the army last year to join the BJP. So here we are outside his house and we're going to go in and find out what he has to say about his life as an Indian MP. Rajyavardhan, first of all, you've been in the army, then you won a silver medal at the Olympics. So a lot of disciplines, and now finally you've come to the biggest indiscipline of all, the Parliament of India. How are you finding the change?
Interestingly, I have another take on it.
Which is?
Which is that the Indian Army, of course, is the disciplined force, but then they have laid down rules and regulations, very strict guidelines, and you can't really, get off the beaten track in terms of discipline.
Right.
Now, here is an organization which actually is capable of moving huge number of manpower and getting them to do work, and yet they have no written rule and still a sense of discipline. Obviously, if you need to accomplish something, there has to be some sense of discipline. So it's internal discipline, and it's discipline based out of an ideology, out of a mission. So all said and done, yes, there is indiscipline, but there's also a larger sense of discipline.
You mean there's some method to the madness?
Absolutely, yeah.
But, we've seen, at least this session is a little more organized, but I'm sure you must have been seeing on TV earlier sessions where people are storming the well of the House. Do you ever see yourself doing that? I mean, you're in government, but if you're in opposition?
I think our level of politics has really dropped down from causes and purposes to party-based projections. And so in case...
Projection, I like the word, that's...
Yeah, because you're trying to project to the people that they are wrong without letting the people go through the debate. Because if you go through the debate, then you have to come with logical answers. So cut the logic, raise the decibel level, so there is no debate, and project your point that anyay ho raha hai, or something like that.
Does that make you feel that maybe you made the wrong choice?
Yes, I do remember that when the first time this happened, and then the second time it happened, and it started happening more regularly, and I asked somebody, how much does the government pay to run this parliament in 1 hour? And it comes to a couple of crores. And I say, here the crores vanish like this without any debate. So yes, I did feel awkward initially and sad.
You mentioned the level of debate in Parliament. I want to know, who do you think are the good speakers in Parliament today?
I think first and foremost, Bharatiya Janata Party has the best of the debaters, and I guess we've been tested by fire because we've been in opposition for so long, and to try and convince the government, you need to be very good in projecting your viewpoints.
Right.
But of course, if you have to come up with names, then Arunji is fantastic.
Speaker.
The Prime Minister, of course, is extremely convincing. He speaks with his emotion and passion. That about Sushma Swaraj is brilliant. Venkaiah Naidu himself is great. I mean, despite his coming from South, he speaks lovely Hindi.
He coins a lot of interesting words.
Absolutely, the connotations are brilliant.
Okay, difficult question. What about the opposition? Name few good speakers from the opposition that you would like, or you haven't heard in this parliament, but you've generally heard.
So now one will have to really think.
Yeah.
So I think in this parliament, of course, Jyotiraditya spoke pretty all right when he started. Like you said, there haven't been very many debaters from the other side.
How do you find life in the army versus life as an MP? For instance, was campaigning more difficult or was training in the army more difficult?
Let me first say that, as a member of parliament or as a politician, be it even in the assembly.
Was campaigning more difficult or was training in the army more difficult?
Let me first say that, as a member of parliament or as a politician, be it even in the assembly, you have to work so hard.
Harder than the army?
In the army, there are phases when you have to work extremely hard, and that cannot be compared to anything because your life is at risk. The life of your men is at risk. You're called beyond normal courage. So, but here the time spent, the time is of immense value, and you have to read up on so many issues. Your man management has to be good. You have to have a great level of patience.
Yes.
You have to have great vocabulary to be able to, because an idea in your mind needs to find its way through your pen or through your words. And finally, genuineness. I sincerely believe, and a lot of people told me when I was transiting from, and interestingly, there was an India Today article some years back, the most respected institution and the most hated profession. And I moved from politics to army, from the most hated to the most respected. Rather, from the most respected to the most hated.
Yes.
But I believe that how can we have I would call politicians the leaders of the whole nation, not being liked by the countrymen. So they have to be people who are good. And there is space today in politics for good people, for genuine people. I firmly believe in that. And it's increasing.
Last time, the first time MPs, the crop, there were Harvard graduates, there were Wharton graduates, there were people from Cambridge, there were professionals who had left to join the Congress. Most of them were from the Congress. But yet, when we say politicians, we say, oh God, these guys are useless, worthless, scamsters. So that the professionals coming in yet didn't change the opinion.
There is a need to lead rather than need to follow the mass opinion.
Right.
And that's what leaders need to do. So there's a subtle difference. And we need to graduate to that. We need to be able to, if I can use the word, be ready to lose the election, but take a step in the direction which is good for the whole country. This requires strong leadership. And we've lost on strong leaders, and there are very few of them today who can stand up for a national issue rather than a regional one.
So you need that conviction. I think that's what's missing.
Yeah, I think this profession needs more of emotion and passion.
Yeah, more instantaneous, spontaneous.
Yeah, and pardon my saying, this is not a profession. I mean, we've gotten so used to saying that.
What do you call it?
Very strange. I really don't know what. I think it's a cause. It's a purpose. This purpose. I mean, we are here for a purpose. If I moved from sports, from army to this, I think I've only moved for a purpose. And even when I was in sports, it was a purpose. Purpose for winning a medal for a country that the world believed and the country itself believed that the medals cannot be won by brown-skinned people.
But what made you join the BJP? Was it someone who spoke to you, or did you approach them? Exactly how did the...
No, we'll go over the politics part of it, that who spoke to whom. But the choice of Bharatiya Janata Party, which is, like I've stated this earlier as well, and I love this line. It says, as an army man, as a sportsman, what does one look for in leadership? Right? A leader who can lead from the front. So in Bharatiya Janata Party, obviously I find now a person of the Narendra Modi stature, of his character, of his attitude, that who has been able to galvanize the whole nation. There may be a few people who have different opinion, but look at the larger youth of the country. So when such a leadership comes, it's like a magnet. It attracts you for a purpose. The second, of course, is very importantly, ideology. We've been in the army, we've been in sports, we play for the nation, we don't play for money. There's a flag, there's emotion involved. And when nationalistic attitude comes in, it's Bharatiya Janata Party that scores over any other party.
But if there was another leader at the helm, not Modi, would you have still joined the BJP?
No, why not? See, look at this. There's no dearth of leadership in Bharatiya Janata Party. In Rajasthan, you have Vasundhara Raje. Look at her. I mean, she's dynamic, right? She's charismatic, decisive. So these are the things that not afraid of taking decisions at all.
And a young leader like Rahul Gandhi does nothing for you. I mean, forget the BJP for a bit. Even when you were not in the BJP, you were not ever thinking of the Congress or Rahul.
See, Rahul Gandhi per se, I think he's a nice person. I always believe that. I've met him a couple of times. He's a nice person.
What do you talk about?
He's a likable guy. No, let's leave that part of. I mean, this was before I joined politics. So
did he talk about shooting and?
I think he likes sports. He likes fitness. So he's a nice, likable guy. But then there's
a but.
There's a difference. I mean, when you talk about politics, when you talk about leadership, when you talk about commitment to the people. So I think, why would I be discussing a third person really? It's really not good to be speaking about so much about somebody else.
Okay, my final question, and some would say it's a very obvious question, but I'm still interested in your answer. Winning the Olympic silver or winning your parliamentary constituency, which one was made you more elated, sense of self-achievement?
They both have their place for sure, right?
You're putting them at par. I thought
No,
that would...
they both have their place of importance. And I draw the importance not because a person won the silver medal. No, I place the importance of that medal, which I realized only later, because a self-belief came in this nation, and not just because of that, because of many other things, but that added to the self-belief. That broke the myth that we are weaker than the white-skinned people. For that reason, that has to be important. And any such achievement has to be important, whosoever has achieved it. This is important because it is for a purpose. I believe that this is a very sacred platform. I played for the country then, but I play for my country now, which is more direct. Anything that I do now directly adds value to my constituents or my country. That's why this is important.
So that's a nice answer. But thank you so much. You know, before I came to you, I did an opinion poll in the office saying who's the most interesting of the first-time MPs to talk to. And the answer was you.
Oh my God.
So you have proved us right. Thank you so much for talking to me.
That's so humbling. Thank you so much.
Well, as you can see, this is one young man who has already made his mark on the nation and now has the Lok Sabha firmly in his line of sight. Moving on, we're now going to move on to the other camp and talk to Gaurav Gogoi, who has been in the news recently. He's been accused of being the de facto Chief Minister of Assam. So let's go and talk to him and find out what he has to say about these allegations. Gaurav, welcome to NewsX and also first session of Parliament.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
You're welcome. And how about Parliament? How are you finding your feet over here, especially at a time when the Congress is not really at its peak?
Well, Priya, it's actually a privilege to be in the Parliament. Often we've heard that the voices of Northeast are misunderstood or misrepresented. There are not enough MPs from Northeast in Parliament right now. And because of which, there are a lot of issues which are relevant to Northeast which don't get covered.
Not enough MPs from the Congress?
Not enough MPs from the Northeast, from the region itself.
You feel that there should be more representation?
Absolutely, there should be more representation. It is a very sensitive part of our country which has links to international, it has a long international boundary. It has annual flooding. It has a mixed community. It has a very convoluted political history where a lot of groups have claimed some form of separation. So in order to actually build a cohesive tie with that part of the country, which has now been isolated after the creation of Bangladesh, it means that we need to have more MPs from Northeast region speaking vociferously about our causes.
But how do you feel about the strength of the House, the fact that the Congress is in such a minority? Do you think the Congress can be an effective opposition? What's the morale of the party?
Well, you see, of course, the recent Lok Sabha elections has been a lesson in humility. After serving 2 terms in the government, the people of India have decided to vote for a change. Yet, at the same time, being the largest party in the opposition, we must respect their aspirations and the hopes which they represented and projected in this election. It's our duty to protect those aspirations, and I feel that we see that there's actually a sense of a fighting spirit which is coming into the Congress party.
Fighting amongst yourselves or fighting the opposition, the others?
Well, I think it's both. I think we both, all of us want to do the best for our party, and sometimes there is a clash of, what is best for the party, but it comes from a good place, from a noble place.
Okay, talking about noble places, you've been criticized at the state level for your background, saying that you're a convent-educated boy. What do you know about state politics? How do you react to such? And they're saying because, in Delhi, people like you, people who are dynasts, who have a convent education, English-speaking, public school, they get a better hearing than, say, a grassroots leader.
See, first of all, I'll talk about the point related to dynastic politics. In this last election, we have all seen that there are many young, deserving sons and daughters of very influential politicians who have not won the elections. They've lost the elections. So people of India now really vote on the basis of performance. Yes, being from a political family does help you get a ticket. But at the same time, in order to win an election, you really have to perform on the ground, you have to connect with your voters and you have to inspire your party. Secondly, when it comes to this recent report, which you referred to regarding state politics and my role in that, you would see that there is only one particular publication, media house in India, which is reporting such kind of stories. Most other media houses have not reported such kind of stories. So I don't know what is the interest or the motivation behind those kind of stories. But at the same time, I think people of Assam know the truth. The people in my party know the truth. The government officers and
the allegation was not made by a media house. The allegation was made by one of your state leaders, Himanta Biswa Sarma. In an interview, he has made this allegation that because of your convent education, because of your access to the Delhi Darbar, his words and people who are unhappy with your father, grassroots leaders are not getting heard, but people like you are. I
think people in Delhi do not believe in such speculation. It is mere speculation. And on Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, he was an extremely senior minister in the cabinet and he is extremely a dynamic leader within the party. He's a very senior person in the party. I'm a first-time MP. I'm a very, I'm in my nascent stages and my initial stages. I would not like to say or give any comments related to a person of his background. I think it would be absolutely inappropriate for me. So no truth in the statement that it was you wrote to Rahul Gandhi, you have a rapport with him, saved your father's job. I completely outrightly reject that I have written any or highly emotional, whatever 6 emails that it was reported. As I said, it's just mere speculation and it just follows a trend that the publication has been taken. But your father's job was in danger a while ago, or there was a sort of a rebellion led by Himanta Sarma. How safe is his job and what exactly happened? See, since the loss of the party in the Lok Sabha elections, where we went from 7 to 3 seats, I think it has been a lesson for in humility for our party in the state as well. Assam always was known to be the fortress of the Congress party. In the 80s and the 90s, Congress was almost like a non-entity and people from the Congress party were pelted with stones by the Assamese public because there was such a wave towards other regional parties. Since 2001, we have built a fortress for the party in the state, having won 3 assembly elections and having done very well. But this crushing defeat really brought out a lot of introspection within the party, and there are many people who have different opinions regarding as to what the future of the party should be. We are grateful to the leadership in Delhi who have sent multiple observers, multiple general secretaries in order to really understand and listen to the views and opinions of everybody in the state. And most recently, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge ji had come to Assam and he had spent a day and a half listening to and talking to everyone. And he has gone back with a very decisive and comprehensive report. But we see that in the most recent developments within the state, Mr. Karan Gogoi continues to be the chief minister of the party. There have been certain resignations from ministers in the previous, in the current cabinet, but we hope that the party would remain united. So no truth to the stories that Gaurav Gogoi is an extra constitutional chief minister? I have no interest in being an extra constitutional authority or no interest in being an authority of any form. Many look at politics as a way to climb to power, but for me it's as a tool for social change and to do meaningful work. So that's the kind of identity that I have in the state. Everybody knows the truth. There's all other contrary reports are just mere speculation. But coming back to Delhi, from Assam, and also, this whole thing about within the Congress, it is a time of churn. It is a time of, introspection also, which I don't know how much is happening. But there is a feeling that the old guard now needs to go and younger leaders need to have their say. There is that old ways cannot continue. Absolutely not. I don't think that it's time for anyone to go. It's time for everyone to come together. The people who have been with the Congress party for many years actually have also seen when the Congress party was down and really weak in the past as well. So we need the experience to fight back and we need the experience and wisdom to guide us. It's for the young to go out and implement. But we definitely need everyone to be together. Priya, we're already 44. I don't think we need anyone to go, but we need more people to come in, to pitch in, to work together. And of course, as I said, the aim of the revival of the Congress party is not just for the revival of the party for the party's sakes, but also because we have an important mandate, which is to serve as the aim the aim of the revival of the Congress party is not just for the revival of the party for the party's sakes, but also because we have an important mandate, which is to serve as an effective opposition.
See, everybody should come together, which brings me to Rahul Gandhi. You know, this. Are you disappointed that he's not the leader of opposition?
I think he's as involved as we want him to be. That the fact that he is taking part in the Youth Congress elections and changing that, he's trying to create systemic changes, and his observation.
He's been here since 2004. Every time I talk about Rahul, they say Youth Congress election.
When we have a party leadership,
right,
in which there's a president, there's a vice president, there are general secretaries as well. It is not a party, unlike other parties, which is ruled by a dictator. There is a clear leadership system in our place. So I don't understand the media's observation for isolating from the entire leadership of the Congress party. Why is there a need to isolate one individual? There's a leadership which is in place.
Because he's your leader, he's also tipped to be the future face of the party. I mean.
Yes, but at the same time, for our party, there is a leadership. There's a president, vice president. We have very senior members. We have all the chief ministers of our state, and that's what consists of the party. So we have Sonia ji guiding us. We have Rahul ji guiding us. We have many other leaders guiding us as well. At this point of time, we have to see what people expect from the Congress party. This, as I said, this 2014 elections was a lesson in humility. Did they just vote out on the basis that, as the media says, that Rahul Gandhi ji was not leading from the front? I don't think so. The people of India saw Rahul Gandhi ji addressing massive rallies across the country.
And then rejected him.
No, they rejected the party. But that's what we have to understand.
The party, as represented by Rahul, has been.
Well, we have to you don't have to jump to conclusions. It's necessary to sit back and relax and analyze carefully what is the actual reason. Was it our policies? Was it our schemes? Was it our communication strategy? Was it the fact some of the scams, or the fact how we were represented in the media? There are many other reasons. If we are hasty with our conclusions, we will not follow the right roadmap forward.
You know, a lot of Congress leaders are blaming it on a lack of communication. I mean, lack of communication is not really the reason why you people lost.
Really, Priya, if you look at the budget, there are so many schemes which are UPA schemes, which have been given a new buzzword. You have the JNURM, which has now become the smart cities. Earlier, we talked about FDI in insurance, and it was rejected then. And now FDI in insurance is brought back, and it seemed to be as a novel step by this party. We talked about GST. It was rejected by the Gujarat government then. And now it's looked upon as a reform measure. So the ruling party has really grasped the art of putting in these labels and magic words. Pehle achhe din aayenge, now everything is FDI, PPP. So I think that is something that we should have also done in a way that when we're talking about our schemes, whether it's MG and Rega, whether it's talking about food security, some way we should have communicated the values behind those schemes better.
See, we should have communicated better. If that is the lesson you people have learned, then where is the communication? I don't see any communication from your top leadership. Sonia and Rahul have not spoken to the media at all. Manmohan Singh, of course, is no longer a leader.
See, it's interesting to see that the media still talks about...
on the public, where's the rally? I have not seen a public rally.
The media still asking Congress leaders to communicate more when the ministers in the current government have stopped communicating to the media. And the Prime Minister of our country communicates more on his visit to Brazil, but does not communicate anything on the bombing of a UN school in Gaza. So I think media should realize that this current government, which used to be so active in the media before, has just stopped communicating. And I think that's a larger question.
But they are saying we are working. We are now within the ministry. We're getting our act together. How can we communicate?
What's the difference between their approach and ours?
Are you working? Are you getting your act together?
When we were in government and we were working, it was asked often of us to speak more. But now this government has really stopped communicating to the media, telling or reprimanding its MPs for actions in the Maharashtra Southern, or the way they made Sania Mirza cry in front of the national public. They have stopped reprimanding them. They have stopped communicating. I think it's time we as a nation realize that there's a new ruling party, and as a party which is governing, which has come on the wave of a lot of hope and promise, they have to do justice. It cannot be mere election rhetoric.
Time for stop slogans, time for stop...
Action.
Time for action and not signals.
Absolutely.
Well, I can see what your politics is going to be like. Thank you so much for talking to NewsX.
Thank you, Priya.
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party may not have the numbers, but they certainly know how to get themselves noticed in their own unique style. Take a look at what this MP from Punjab had to say about the budget.
पहले किराया बढ़ाया रेल का, फिर नंबर आया तेल का। खुद ही 10 साल करते रहे नुक्ताचीनी, आते ही 2 रुपये किलो महंगी कर दी चीनी। हर कोई सपने दिखाकर आम आदमी को ठग रहा है। अध्यक्ष महोदय, आम लोगों को अब डर चीन से नहीं, चीनी से लग रहा है। दुनिया मून पर, सरकार हनीमून पर। पूछ रहे पूरे देश के चाय वाले हैं, महंगाई की वजह से खाली चाय के प्याले हैं। लोगों को तो बस 2 वक्त की रोटी के लाले हैं। सरकार जी बता दीजिए, अच्छे दिन कब आने वाले हैं? शायद पता नहीं है कि इराक है किस इलाके में, भारतीय इराक में फंसे हैं। विदेश मंत्री सुषमा जी गई थी ढाके में। बांग्लादेश को ये विदेश मंत्रालय का वफद क्या 10 दिन बाद नहीं जा सकता था? क्या कंधार की तर्ज पर विदेश मंत्री का जहाज बगदाद नहीं जा सकता था? तो मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि हमारे देश के लोग बहुत हिम्मत वाले हैं, जिन्होंने इस महंगाई के दौर में भी बच्चे पाले हैं। लूटने वाले ज्यादा बस गिनती के रखवाले हैं। प्लीज सरकार जी बता दीजिए, अच्छे दिन कब आने वाले हैं?
Well, let's hope these first-time MPs can make a difference and perhaps even mark a departure from politics as usual. But that's all from us this week. Thank you for watching Cover Story, and we'll see you again same time next week.